Yes. Okay. I would like to call the meeting to order. It is, I think, by my watch, the clock, 6:35. If everyone can please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And Mr. Wood is here. Would you like to lead us in the pledge?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May we have a roll call, please?
Ms. Phillip,
Here.
Ms. Garcia,
Here.
Mr. Marty,
Here.
Mr. McDermott,
Here.
Mr. Modesier,
Here.
Ms. Cohen,
Here.
Ms. Estime Irvin.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we do have a new member, which we'll get into when I say member staff later on. But Ms. Tappan, welcome. And would you please explain the variance process to our audience?
Absolutely. Thank you, Madam Chair. As you all know, I'm Lorraine Tappan. I'm the new zoning administrator taking Joanne Martin's place, who recently retired. She first retired last fall, and she finally retired just a week ago. But to get into the items and the business for tonight, I'm going to explain the quasi-judicial process, which will be helpful for the board and also for the members of the audience who have petitions on the agenda tonight. This is a quasi-judicial hearing. When the petition is announced, the applicant should approach the microphone and state his or name for the address. For the record, we have two places where you can walk up to with a microphone. Please advise that the following items on the agenda are quasi-judicial in nature. If you wish to comment upon any of these items, please indicate your interest to address the board when the announcement regarding the quasi-judicial item is made. For example, if you're the property owner, you're the tenant, or you're representing one of those folks. An opportunity for persons to speak on each item will be made available after the applicant and staff have made their presentations on each item. So staff will make their presentation, and then the applicant can come up and add comments on the application. Please speak directly into the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and your comments to the board.
Thank you. And our attorney will administer the oath.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Anyone desiring to speak this evening on any of the matters presented on the agenda, please stand and raise your right hand.
Everybody.
Thank you. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you. Any amendments to the agenda?
Yes, Madam Chair. I've just been informed that the parties to V-3-14 Mid-Bay Miami LLC, the applicant and pretty much the entire family has fallen ill, and there's a request to postpone this item to the next available board meeting.
Continued?
Yes, and if the representative from the Mid-Bay, if you would like to make a statement on the record justifying your postponement, please do so at this time.
My name is Eileen Previtel. I live at 12000 North Bay Shore Drive, but I'm here for the building next to where I live. Where my family lives is 11950 North Bay Shore Drive. We've been playing with the flu, sharing it. I'm staying away from them. I didn't expect to come tonight. At the last minute, they said, can't make it. They can't make it. Bill was here at a meeting last night. He could hardly talk. But, it's no sense spreading it around. I brought papers in case I had to say something, but I'll be glad to come back. And as you can tell from my New York accent, I'll need a New Yorkese translator. Thank you very much.
So, continued?
If there are no objections by this board, then the item will be continued to the next available hearing.
No objection, none. Okay.
Hearing none,
Thank you.
it shall be continued. Thank you so much.
All right. Approval of the minutes from December 18.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Any communications? All right. No continued petition. Well, let's hear the new petitions. V-1A-14, Lily Childcare, 705 Northwest 133rd Street. Is the applicant here? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Hazel Alvarez, and I represent the tenant, who's going to be the owner of Lily Child Care, 705 Northwest, 133rd Street.
Okay, thank you. Before we go on, Mr. Galdos, is she?
You represent the tenant in what
The
manner?
owner of the Lily Child Care.
Oh, okay. And what is your capacity to
I have
be-
a power of attorney.
Can I see that, please?
Yeah.
Thank you. Just want to make sure that you have legal standing to represent them.
I was the one that doing all the process.
Thank you.
All right, thank
For
you.
the record, I do show a power of attorney allowing
Hazel Alvarez.
Ms. Alvarez to represent the tenant, which is the applicant here before you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Tappan?
In addition, Madam Chair, Hazel Alvarez's name is on the development application included in the package.
Okay. All right. So would you?
Shall I
go ahead?
introduce? Yes.
Sure.
I'll introduce the items for Lily Child Care. First is petition for special exception use pursuant to Article 4, Section 4302, and Article 3, Section 3504 of the Land Development Regulations to allow a child care center in the C1 district. As you know, child care centers must be approved as a special exception use in the commercial districts. This particular location is located just west of Northwest 7th Avenue on 133rd Street. It's just behind a number of commercial properties, actually sandwiched between a number of commercial properties and residential properties. The applicant wishes to open a child care center in a former residence that's 930 square feet. The property will need extensive renovations in order to meet the current land development regulations for the city of North Miami. It is staff's opinion that the child care is permitted by a special exception in this particular district, the C1 district, and is appropriate and compatible with the district and with the conditions imposed, and I'll review some of those conditions. The property would be in compliance with the standards specified in Article 3, Section 3504 of the Land Development Regulations, and meets the criteria for special exception use. Some of the conditions we're requesting of the applicant reflect the previous statement that the property does need significant renovations. As you know, it was previously a single-family home. So in order to make it a commercial residence, it will need significant landscaping such as trees and shrubbery, particularly along the alleyway and the right-of-way. It's a child care center, so they do need some privacy fencing. They've indicated some on their plans, but we've also recommended additional conditions to ensure there's privacy around the entire play area. In addition, we suggested that their trash enclosure be moved from the western side of the rear parking lot to the eastern side to allow parking to back into have more area to move within that area, and also that notices are provided to parents not to park in the alleyway. Just to the west of the property is an alleyway that runs behind the commercial businesses, and the alleyway goes parallel to Northwest 7th Avenue. And that concludes my presentation on this special exception petition.
Thank you. And Ms. Alvarez?
Alvarez.
Okay. Would you like to add anything to what was said to your
Ms. Tappan clearly explained everything. We went back and forth. We present several options. We discussed with them whatever comply with all the building requirements. We present architectural plan. We are aware of everything that needs to be done in order to open doors and create a daycare center. And we are here just to please ask your approval to start the process to establish the daycare.
Thank you. I'd like to open public hearing. Is there anyone for or against this item? Speak now or forever hold your peace. All right. Any board discussion? Hmm?
Is it an existing daycare somewhere else that's trying to transfer to the city, or is it a new one?
No, it's a new daycare.
I have a question, a
Yes.
couple of them. What do you anticipate your enrollment to be?
Then, when?
How many do you believe that you will have in terms of?
10 kids.
So this is for 10?
10 kids.
So you're looking to do a large family childcare home
Yeah, 10
Okay.
kids. Yeah.
and not a center?
No, 10 kids.
Okay. Okay.
Madam Chair,
Uh-huh.
to staff, I assume that you've looked at all the appropriate state licenses and county licenses and that kind of thing?
We have requested state licenses.
Oh, they don't have them yet?
Yeah, we don't have them in the package tonight, but they are required by the state to provide that in order to operate as a childcare center.
Both by the state of Florida and Miami-Dade County. They have licensing jurisdiction over this type of use.
Yeah.
All right, Madam Chairman? I move to approve the application.
And I second it.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Ms. Phillip,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia,
Yes.
Mr. Marty,
Yes.
Mr. McDermott,
Yes.
Mr. Mondesir,
Yes.
Ms. Cohen,
Yes.
Mrs. Timmy Irvin. Yes. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We have one more. Yes. We got one more.
One more.
Yes. Madam Chair, if it's all right, I'll introduce the second petition related to Lilly Child Care.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Um,
I think, are we done?
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a second petition related to the application for the Child Care Center. It's V1B14, petition for variance to Article 5, Section 5, 1401I of the Land Development Regulations to allow parking to back out into the public right-of-way pursuant to Article 3, Section 306 of the Land Development Regulations in the C1 zoning district. And as I mentioned, that this was previously a single-family home, and as such, the applicant is proposing to modify the site to provide parking. The requirement for a child care center is 1 space per 200 square feet of gross area, and in this case area, the 960-foot child care center would need 5 spaces. That has been provided on the plan. However, 2 spaces will be in the front of the building and will back out onto Northwest 133rd Street. That's not generally allowable by the land development regulations, but the board has the opportunity to grant a variance to allow back out parking. Staff feels that the variance does meet the criteria within section 3606 of the standards for granting variances and recommends approval of the variance.
Hold on. Let me open it up since it is a different item. Anyone for or against? All right. Now, Mr. Marty, you may ask your
Do
question.
you have any picture of that house, how the back look like? Is that going to have any effect on the next door neighbor? We don't have anything to see.
And I can, in
it's a-
future applications, I'll bring photos. In this case, it's on Northwest 133rd Street.
I'm sorry, there's a satellite picture.
Yeah, right here.
No, what he's asking for
Yeah,
is her imagery of what the driveway would look like.
Her imagery of the driveway, they have the,
and actually, we could
Sheet
take
A2.
a look at the, let's see what,
Yeah. No, keep going.
it's approximately 1/2.
There it is.
There it is.
yeah, an A2.
Oh, yes, okay, great.
The 3
Oh, you're right,
parking
thank you.
spaces in the back and the 2 in the front.
The house next to it, the parking space will not fit the next neighbor. It's not really showing anything in this picture.
Well,
What is it you're
most
trying
of
to-
the properties around there,
I know
they're
they
so
want-
close to 7th Avenue, they're really you can consider a lot of them mostly commercial rather than residential. So, I don't know.
Can I ask a fellow, Mr.
Let me,
Mr. Mondesi?
yeah, I'm very familiar with the property, actually.
This is your
I'm a-
neighborhood.
Yeah, I'm a block away from it, so, to the north of this property is Alex, it's a tire shop.
Mhm.
So where she's proposing to do the parking space in the back, is what separates it is a fence, and after the fence is it's a tire shop. And on the east side of her is a garage slash payday check cashing store, which is also divided by another fence. And on the south of her is a car wash.
Mhm.
So the way that she's proposing to plan here, at least from my understanding, it won't be an intrusion into the adjacent
will not.
businesses. No, not at all.
Okay.
I actually went and just re-inspected it again today prior to coming here,
Okay.
so
Thank you.
it's fine.
Well, with that being said, since I
I
made,
have a question. I'm not done yet.
oh, okay.
How wide are the two parking spaces that are going to be backing up onto 133rd? Because according to her plan, one of them is an accessible parking spot. And then there's 4 regular parking spots. So I thought the 5 was 5 regular, not 4 plus accessible based on the code.
She's required to have 5 parking spots. And the,
One of them can be
It
accessible?
yes,
can be
one can be
accessible.
accessible,
Okay,
yeah.
so the one that's not accessible,
Mhm.
it looks, based on the plan, it looks very narrow. How wide is it going to be?
9 feet.
9 feet,
9 feet?
yeah,
Okay.
9 feet wide.
Any more discussion?
Can I ask a question of Mr. Mondesir since he lives there?
No, doesn't live there.
Well, lives in the neighborhood? How-
Businesses, yes.
How much traffic goes along 133rd during
Not
the
much
day?
traffic at all.
much.
Okay.
The most they're going to get is just the car wash, which is on the weekend.
Okay,
After that, there isn't much traffic on 133rd.
okay. I'm good then.
Now I
Go,
can make a
You can make your
motion?
motion.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, through the chair, I'd like to make a motion that approve the variance.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Phillip,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia,
Yes.
Mr. Haber, I'm sorry, Mr. Marty,
Yes.
Mr. McDermott,
Yes.
Mr. Mondesir,
Yes.
Ms. Cohen,
Yes.
Mrs. Timmy Irvin.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so
Congrats.
both items have been approved, ma'am.
Thank you.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
All right. Next case. V-28-14, and I may be killing this. Cassia Badal, 13301 Memorial Highway.
Good evening. My name is Casey Abadal. I am the
Cassia.
tenant. The address is 13301 Memorial Highway, North Miami, Florida, 33161.
Right, Ms. Stafford?
Okay, the first petition is a petition for special exception use pursuant to Article 4, Section 4302, and Article 3, Section 3504 of the Land Development Regulations to allow a child care center in the C1 district. And a bit of background on the property. The property is a former child care center. It was originally permitted by Miami-Dade County in 1954. We actually, as a matter of fact, the owner brought in the original permit. Didn't provide a lot of information, but it was kind of an interesting historic piece in the application. It's also in a newly annexed area of the city of North Miami. It's across the street from the Aspira School, just south of Northwest 135th Street on Memorial Highway. The center will be open from 6:30 to 6 p.m. They expect to have about 49 children between ages 0 and 5. It's staff's opinion that the child care is permitted by special exception in this particular district, which is C1, and that it meets the standards of Article 3, Section 3504 for the issuance of a special exception use. But like the previous application, we are requesting a number of improvements to the property. The surrounding properties are in good shape. Aspira High School has very good fencing, landscaping. The multifamily properties to the south also have good landscaping and trees and so forth. So a number of the requirements that we're asking for are improvements to the landscaping, including the swale area, trees, curbing in the parking area, a privacy fence, some a replacement of existing chain link fence that's in disrepair. Also, there's some existing cargo containers on the property, not a part of the property that will be used for the child care center, but we're also requesting that those be removed because they're not allowed by the land development regulations on commercial properties, and that the building be repainted according to the city's approved color palette. The existing building has a lot of writing painted on it, and so we've asked they come back with also a professionally prepared sign that meets the city's requirements for signs. That concludes staff's presentation on this particular application, and there'll be a subsequent one related to
Thank you.
this one.
Ms. Padal,
Okay.
anything you'd like to add?
I just want to say thank you guys for, allowing me to come in this evening. This has actually been a dream of mine for over 10 years. I ran into a mutual friend of mine, this was over 10 years ago, and they actually changed my life. It was being reintroduced to them that allowed me to get into childcare in the first place. And 3 months into being in the childcare center, I realized that this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. So this is not only a dream come true, but this is my passion. So imagine walking into work every morning and this is where you want to be. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone, just like the previous case, anyone for or against this particular item? Okay. With that, I'd like to start off, if you don't mind, board members, colleagues. I just have a couple of questions. I know that particular site, which used to be Clown Around for years, and I know the original owner went into it, opened it, as a matter of fact, when her kids were born. That was the whole reason behind it. It says here that you anticipate something like 49 children?
Yes.
Is that based on the previous license that was given to them?
Yes, that's correct.
Has DCF come out there to?
That's going to be the next process
Because
after.
you do realize that that grandfather clause does not apply once that
I do.
site has been. So the square footage that was allowed before is no longer required. So you're looking at 35 square feet per child.
Correct.
So you might get less in
Yes.
terms of your, okay, all right.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm actually a director now, so I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Director so with what, DCF?
No, I'm a child care center director right now.
Ah.
Yes, we're actually doing the Nemours together.
Yeah.
That's
Your name came across, but you're not in my,
yes,
collaborative. Okay.
I actually am. You called me a few weeks back. Yeah.
No, nothing to this case. Okay? I didn't even know.
It's okay. I'm looking like, you want to disclose now?
Yes.
Mr. Galdos appreciates that comment.
No. Hey.
Yes.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying, have we met?
We have.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
And I'm so sorry.
You're actually my trainer for the Nemours program.
That's how you see that I meet too many people. Okay. All right.
Madam Chair. To disclose that she's her trainer.
Let me disclose that. But that has okay. All right.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the applicant.
And I'll second that.
All right. It's been moved and seconded. A roll call, please.
Ms. Phillip,
My. Yes.
Ms. Garcia,
Yes.
Mr. Marty,
Yes.
Mr. McDermott,
Yes?
Mr. Madezir,
Yes.
Ms. Cohen,
Yes.
Mrs. Timmy Irvin.
Yes.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry I didn't recognize you. That is bad.
Madam
Okay, you've been approved.
Madam
more.
Chair, we've
One
got
more.
one more related petition.
Now that whole, now breaking it up, that really, I have to get used to it.
Okay.
Let me just say that.
The second related petition is a petition for a variance to Article 5, Section 5-1402 of the Land Development Regulations to allow 8 parking spaces where 10 are required for a child care center pursuant to Article 3, Section 3606 of the Land Development Regulations in the C1 zoning district. As I mentioned before, the site was previously permitted in 1954 by Miami-Dade County, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not clear on what their regulations are or requirements for parking were at the time. But currently, there's only 4, there's only 4 parking spaces. We sat down with Ms. Vidal and Mr. Orocho, the owner, and kind of tried to figure out how much parking could actually be established within the front of the building and in front of an existing storage unit. And we mutually agreed that 8 spaces could be provided there. The code does require that require 10 spaces. So the variance request is for 8 spaces rather than the required 10. Staff reviewed the criteria for the variance application based upon Article 3, Section 3606, and found that the site does meet the criteria for a variance to the parking requirement. And that
Okay.
concludes staff's presentation.
Do you have a map
Do you
that
have a
shows
depiction
that?
showing the 8 spaces?
Yes, it should be included in the package.
It's not.
Let me point it out.
I don't have it.
It should be a sheet that looks like this. There's a floor plan on one side, and on the other side, there should be an 11 by 17 page. And on this side, you can see the graphic which shows the 8 parking spaces.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
It's drawn right here.
Works on the side and above.
There.
The parking spaces, what are the dimensions? 9 by 18?
They'll be 9 by 18 standard size.
In the front, where the existing 4 are?
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Wow. So with the existing 4 parking spaces, you guys are able to get in 8?
Yes, the plans were redrawn.
when-
The original, as you can see
Are
from
they
the
making it
original.
a semi?
No, they're not. If you look at the original survey, which is also included in your packet, they had a lot of space. The spaces were at 2 extreme ends of the property, more toward the 2 on the north side, 2 on the south side. But if they move the parking a bit more north, there's room for an additional 4 parking spaces.
So in the original map that doesn't have the drawing, those 2 spaces that show that they're within that 70 feet, they're moved closer to the property line on that side.
Toward the
And
northern
and
side.
on the other 2, they're being left where they are because they're only 6 feet off the property line.
Correct.
And then in between all that, which is roughly like 100 and something feet, they're putting in the 4 more?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
How are they going to drop off the children?
Let's
That's
defer that to the applicant.
okay. How are they going to drop the children off?
How are they going to drop the children off?
Because
There is an open area right adjacent to the fence where the children would be able to, once they park, they would be able to walk them right in.
So they're parking on someone else's property, or are they parking on Memorial Highway
They would be parking on Memorial Highway.
in the swale
Yes.
at 7:30 in the morning?
What are the
Well,
hours for the
with childcare, it's not elementary, so parents are dropping off. It varies, anywhere from 6 to 10 o'clock. So we're not expected to have a really heavy traffic at 7:30 in the morning. We may have 2. It's going to be very sporadic.
You
And-
won't have heavy traffic. Memorial Highway will have heavy traffic, and I know this because that's the road I take every morning to get onto the turnpike before I get my Dunkin' on 163rd Street.
Yeah,
That's
Well-
the only thing about this application that bothers me.
me too.
Everything else, I'm perfectly fine with. The fact that you're gonna be having cars stopping on Memorial, which is a very busy thoroughfare in the morning, because it is a quick shot to get to the turnpike from 125th or 135th.
Mm.
That's my only concern. Plus, if you have cars coming to you from the north, they're going to have to turn or make a U-turn of some sort onto Memorial, which is harrowing to say the least, because the speed limit there, I'm not even sure what the posted limit is, but cars do go kind of fast.
Yeah.
There's a school zone.
Yeah, they have school
zone.
speed during certain time.
Not
that I know.
around,
Well,
Because
At
of
8 o'clock.
Aspira.
because of Aspira, they do,
yeah.
yes.
yeah, Aspira is right across the street.
It's almost right across.
Right across the
Yeah,
street.
it's
Yeah.
very nearby. I mean,
Right to the
right
north,
after
to the
the
south.
childcare center, there is like a,
Shopping center.
yeah, small, but, and then there are housing unit.
Yeah, there's actually.
Yeah,
Extend the
I think going to the south direction, it's a neighborhood, so there's going to be less traffic. I would be more concerned with traffic coming in off of what avenue? What is that? 135th. Yeah, that's where the heavy traffic area would be. And at that time, a lot of the commercial property on the right of the school, there isn't really too much activity going on at that time.
The only, Madam Chair?
Yes, Mr. McDermott.
And the only problem, because I travel that road too sometimes, is that it's only a two-lane highway. And part of the problem is that some of the traffic going into Aspira stops
Yes.
because they back up. So basically, you'd be blocking two lanes, because there's only two lanes. And they block the traffic coming south off of 135th, and I've run into traffic coming around that corner, and the traffic's backed up in front of Aspira. So the problem's going to be if their traffic is on on Memorial Highway coming north, both lanes will be blocked. It's going to cause a terrific traffic problem unless there's some way to address that. I mean, the school's a good thing, and it's been abandoned, unfortunately, but
Well, it's only been out of use now for about 6 months.
yeah.
Oh,
Madam Chair, can I make a motion? I'd like to move that we continue this item until the applicant can come back and present us with something more viable to satisfy the 8 parking spaces, or 10, and a safe drop-off zone.
Is there
I don't-
room in the back?
I don't think it's safe.
I-
But I don't want to deny you, because then you have to wait a year. I think continuing this is more fair to you. Because
Okay.
I'm not comfortable. I don't know how the rest of the board members feel, but knowing that road as well as I do in the morning, I'm not comfortable.
I mean, I'm comfortable based on staff recommendations saying that we can go ahead, so I'm very comfortable with that. There's school there, they manage, she has 35 students, kids, and how many kids are attending the other school? So I'm comfortable. I am concerned for safety, I am, but I think that hopefully the director will do her due diligence in getting that. But I don't think that, in my opinion, that we need to, to continue this. This is something that she can figure out.
Okay, hold
May
on.
I?
I'm sorry.
She made a motion, and I guess we're is dangling for a second before we can continue. If someone would just either, I don't know,
Second or not.
second or not, and
Well, I'll
discussion
second.
will still go through.
Madam Chair, I'll second for discussion.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Well, the only issue is that we want to make sure that, I mean, we like what your proposal is, and we want to do, but at the same time, here's the issue. The issue is that FDOT is trying to close other streets in the surrounding area, which is going to force the traffic that comes down West Dixie Highway onto Memorial. And it's going to be a traffic nightmare. I would think that there's other alternatives to get these spaces done. And so I would support the continuance just so that, the fact that, well, let's approve it and let her figure it out, well, that's not, that's no solution. We need to figure out how we address your parking issue without blocking the north and south lanes of Memorial Highway. I know the residents in that area, the homeowner association in that area, is already screaming and yelling about the traffic on 135th, and they can't move north or south because of, so this is going to just exacerbate that issue, so.
And you think,
Mr. Marty?
Well, I don't think the parking space will be an issue because now what we discuss now is the traffic. And that has nothing to do with its parking space. The school is across the street. They're doing okay, and I don't see why we cannot allow them to go. Because
they're going to be blocking, they're going to be parking in the street and on the swale. A Spirit is directly across the street, and they stop in the street coming south. So now if we have people stopping in the street going north, your two-lane highway is blocked.
She's going to operate a daycare. A daycare, they don't drop all the kids on 35 kids. We don't never see 35 parents drop kids at the same time. A daycare, they come from 7, and sometimes they come at 10. That's irrelevant to me. Therefore, I think we should go to the staff recommendation and let them go.
And my only thing too is that, and I hear what you're saying in terms of the blockage, and when I'm looking at, I'm trying to figure out how, because they have enough room right there on the swale to drop off and then, park, go in and come right back out. It's not like that's going to be, my concern would have been if you're going to go through the parking lot and they had to wait to do like a semicircle, like a queue type of thing, then that would have pushed traffic. Because right now what they're saying is that they'll do parallel to the traffic that's there. Yeah, I just know the center that was there before, and I don't know in terms of what Miami-Dade County, what their rules and regulations are, but I know based on the way that it was, they never had an issue. And let's not forget, it's a new business going in. It's going to take some time for them to pick up. I hate to say this. I know the area, not too far from there. You have a children's academy with, a great number in terms of their enrollment, how many that their capacity, I should say. So I don't really see like there's going to be a great big issue right now. And I hear, I just know the business a little bit. I don't know. All right, so there's a motion, and it's been seconded, so let's do roll call, and that is for continuance. Is that still your?
Yes, that's still my motion.
That's still your motion. Okay, so we're voting on continuing this particular item.
Ms. Phillip?
Yes, to continue.
Yeah, not to deny, continue.
continue on what basis, and what would she have to do?
Well, to satisfy, for parks,
Okay.
it's not,
All right, let's
the
vote.
drop-off
She need a
area,
drop-off area.
Okay, now, before we go ahead, what will be our alternative? Let's say we go on a cold wall, and then
No, if the motion fails, then now anyone can do,
All right.
put a motion to approve.
okay.
now the area can always use daycare, so I don't want to deny her and have her wait a year. But I want to make sure the kids are safe, no mommy gets hit by a car dropping off her child. The swale there floods. I don't know if you've ever, the swale floods. So when the swale
Yeah,
floods,
that
rainy season's
area
coming,
does flood.
where are they going to drop off then?
Yeah,
It's,
yeah,
I just know this road so well because I drive it.
yeah, that area really
every
does
day.
flood.
And I've driven it in the flood.
Okay,
Not fun,
so if we
let's
were to
roll call.
continue, that means 2 months' time for them to return.
With what?
Okay.
better
Go
than
ahead,
here.
let's call.
All right, well, roll call, Ms. Clairvaux.
Ms. Phillip?
No.
Ms. Garcia?
Yes.
Mr. Marty?
No.
Mr. McDermott?
Yes.
Mr. Mondesir?
Yes.
Ms. Cohen?
Yes.
Ms. Estime Irvin?
No.
Okay, well, it's been continued.
Your special exception, Madam, was approved, obviously, unanimously. I urge you, based on this board's vote, to work with staff to provide some alternatives for the issues that were raised this
Okay.
evening. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Are you the property owner, sir? I
Yes.
urge you next time to step up and speak on behalf of your tenant. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, question to you, Madam Chair.
Yes?
Yeah. Okay. On those cases,
Yes.
how do we, let's say we approve the first part, like we're doing now. We approve
She's
the first
fine
part.
with
we
the
tell
first
them,
part. She
go
just
ahead.
has to come back with the
And then
second.
the second part, hang over. And
So when
If
she
we-
comes back before us for the first, she doesn't have
If
to come
we
back
did not-
before us for the first part, but for the second part, she does.
yeah, but
That's it.
It's, I put safety above everything.
no,
It's
wait.
just-
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't be comfortable if someone got hit by a car when I
No,
was
nobody
with
will.
it. It's just, my conscience would never get over it. It just, and
Okay. All right.
Let's move on.
With that said, any old business? Okay.
From last
Any new business?
I have
last
a
year.
question for Ms. Tappan. Do you bake?
I already asked her when she came to my house.
That is a
I already asked her, and it's a no.
It's a requirement.
No.
Yes.
Ms. Tappan, tell them exactly what I said when I opened the door.
The first thing you asked it was, do you bake? Yes. And to be honest, I'm not a regular baker. Yes.
Joanne, I hear Joanne has some free time. Maybe she can give you lessons. Because Becky knew I was coming, my 14-year-old. She's like, are you bringing brownies? And I'm like, Joanne won't be
No.
there. She's like, Mom.
So, new business. Other than the fact we welcome Ms. Tappan.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's a
Okay.
pleasure.
Did we address the baking issue?
Yes. All right, do I
Joanne,
hear a
can I give her
motion
lessons?
Thank
to
you for a special
adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
I like
And
it.
please leave your binders.
Oh, we gotta leave the binders?
I like this.
I like
No,
it.
this
I
way,
know.
So I have to, so what do? We can't take our binders?
you can take what's inside if you want.
But you have to leave the binders.